Hello and welcome to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show. This is our CIF Finals edition. I am your host, Jonathan Khamis. I am being joined, as always, to my left, Steve Fryer, to my right, Dan Albano. We are in Long Beach at which hotel?
It's the Grand. It's a banquet facility.
Yeah, it's very nice and palatial, right, Steve?
Very palatial.
Yeah, there we go. But we're not going to talk about the hotel. We're going to talk about the CIF championships. And first, guys, we're getting it started with the West Valley Division. Dan, Mission Viejo riding a 25-game unbeaten streak. They won last year's championship game. Here they are again against the same team, no less.
Yeah, this game's in at Vistamira High School. And an interesting scene, we're just getting done with the CIF luncheon, the banquet, which the Southern Section does a fabulous job hosting, but it's the media luncheon for these games. And one of the last scenes I saw was the Vistamira coach drawing a little map of what the high school looks like for Coach Johnson, and where the buses are going to be, where the Diablos are going to load and navigate. But that's a big advantage because last year this game was at Anaheim Stadium, Angel Stadium, I should say. Yeah. So that's a big advantage when these CIF championship games are at that school. But you mentioned the momentum that Mission Viejo is riding, that 25-game winning streak. The other thing that they're riding, fellas, is the 7 touchdown passes last week by Brock Johnson, school record, broke some record held by some guy, Mark Sanchez. Won a lot of games at Mission Viejo and USC. Man, that's a pretty incredible record. If you can break a record by Mark Sanchez, you're doing something right, because we know how well Sanchez has turned out to be.
Brock's playing at a whole nother level. And as far as Mission, they beat Chino Hills last week, 56-21. Dan, you alluded to that. Vista Murrieta, they beat Rancho Cucamonga, 62-56 in 5 overtimes. So we will see how much left they got in the tank there, Steve. Mission Viejo, can they repeat?
Yeah, I think they can. They were my pick to win the division, and I thought they'd play Tesoro in the final or Vista Murrieta. Vista Murrieta's got a good quarterback, too. The kid Grillo there's thrown for more than 2,100 yards and a lot of touchdowns also. And that team, just like Mission, a high-scoring team, averaging more than 45 points a game. So that could be one heck of a game out there at Vista Murrieta.
So we caught up with Mission Viejo earlier. Here's what they had to say.
Tough schedule. Three of the people are still playing. They're in this room, 3 of our opponents. And 2 of them got knocked out last week. So we had 5 opponents going into the semis that we played on our schedule. So we're not hunting out people, people won't play us. So we've had a great schedule. So we've known from get-go that we have something special here.
They've had a really good season, only 1 loss so far, and they beat some really good teams in playoffs. So I'm excited to get in and watch some film and get ready for them this week.
Our thanks to the Diablos, and our next game is in the Southwest Division. It is for the Southwest Championship game, where we have another team that won a championship last year. Actually, a team that was in the finals, my bad. San Clemente is in the final against La Habra. They haven't been there since 2010. La Habra going for their 7th CIF championship under head coach Frank Mazzotta. Dan, La Habra on a roll, Eric Barrier doing his thing. It's just been the year of the quarterback this year, let's face it. But San Clemente, they got Jack Sears over there. They have Fotheringham. They're on a roll. This could be their 4th straight Freeway League opponent that they beat in the playoffs. Kind of unheard of, guys. What kind of matchups are you looking forward to seeing? Because there's talent all over the place.
Yeah, this is a great game. This is the one I thought at the beginning of the year, this is the one I thought it was going to be. I talked to Eric Barrier, La Habra quarterback, in the luncheon, and one of the things that he mentioned was the size of San Clemente. And that's the same thing that Coach Anthony White at Buena Park mentioned to me before the semifinal game on Friday down at a chilly San Clemente. The size of that offensive line is, and really that's where the size is. And San Clemente, they can really ground and pound, and they got a couple running backs, Vladdy, Reeves, Jack Sears is really on the rise, but La Habra's got size too, and La Habra's very physical. And I bet you it wasn't at the game, but second half against La Habra, against Phil Park, I bet you the Highlanders brought the physical play. So look for a big-time black and blue game.
Yeah, I was at the La Habra game, and they sure did bring the wood in that second half. Steve, the Tritons had 399 rushing yards last week in a win against Buena Park. Big Vladdy Z had 3 of those touchdowns. Steve, this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it is. I picked La Habra to win the division and play San Clemente in the final, and I think that's still going to hold true. But San Clemente, gosh, and like Dan is alluding to, they can beat you in a lot of different ways. Sears is an underrated quarterback. He had to follow Darnold last year, Player of the Year, great player at USC and all that. But Sears is just fine too. And their inside-outside running package of VLAD and Brandon Reeves, that gives them a lot of dimension. Fotheringham, I think, one of the most under-recruited guys in Orange County. He's going to University of Utah. Nothing wrong with that. But man, I think everybody in the world should be after this cat. He's something special. But they're all, like you were saying, they're awful big and they're fast on defense, and that's where I always like to see it. But I still got to stick with the Highlanders. I think they've got that sort of physical nature to them that might be able to get this done. But if San Clemente wins, hey, no surprise here. Nobody should be surprised. This is kind of a coin flip game to me, I guess.
And we caught up with La Habra in San Clemente earlier today.
They have a tough, tenacious defense. Kids fly around the ball pretty well. Offensively, Eric Barrier, I think him and our quarterback, Jack Sears, I think they're one of the two best quarterbacks in the county, and it's going to be an honor, privilege to see these guys go head-to-head and play against each other.
Feels great. I mean, not a lot of teams get another chance at this, so, I mean, we're lucky enough to be here. I mean, we put in the work and stuff, so we deserve to be here, I guess.
It should be incredible. I know their quarterback is, similar. Running and throwing and making plays, and Eric's going to do his part on our end. It should be just a great high school football game for, anybody that wants to see a great football game. This is the game to be at.
I expect a tough game, far from both sides of the ball, from us and San Clemente, but, we're both two tough teams, so we're going to see who comes out with the win.
Site to be determined. Anything you guys have to say on that? It looks like it could be Cerritos College or Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, right now, probably Cerritos College are trying to work with Cal State Fullerton to get the game moved there. Cal State Fullerton just doesn't seem to somehow bend toward helping high school games get played at their Titan Stadium, which was built for their football program. Then they unplugged the football.
They have football.
About 10 months later. But anyway, I'd like to see this game at Cal State Fullerton. It's a great site, a lot of parking, but Cerritos College is fine too.
You don't get free parking being alumni?
I have to pay double.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. All right, thanks to Steve Fryer, thanks to Dan Albano.
Pay your, parking fees, your past tickets.
Yeah, I do. Okay. I owe them more than I owe them in tuition, I think.
There you go. All right, thanks to Steve Fryer, thanks to Dan Albano. I'm your host, Jonathan Khamis. For all your latest CIF Finals updates, check out OCVarsity.com, where we've got you covered.